I figured I'd make this video for the guy out there that's looking to get into concrete pumping, whether starting a business or, becoming an operator. And I'll give you some tips and some thoughts on it. So if you're going to become an owner or an owner especially, you need to have some sort of mechanical experience coming into it, or someone that's going to work with you hand in hand every single day to help you. Because if you don't have any mechanical experience, it's not the thing that you want to be taking on, because this pump here is a very good pump. It's in good condition, and it still is about 5 to 6 hours a week on maintenance, just on maintenance, fixing stuff. The stuff's always breaking. You're pumping rock and sand and gravel, you know what I'm saying? So, stuff's going to be breaking. Now, if you're just looking to operate, you have to be willing to do a lot of stuff, okay? The pump operator is kind of the unspoken boss on the site, because you're pumping the concrete. You have the most expensive piece of equipment on site, and you're controlling the wetness, like the slump of the concrete. You're controlling pump on, and you've got all these guys. So you've got to be someone who can handle a lot of stress, someone that can handle people screaming and yelling at you, and someone that stays calm. If you aren't that guy, this is not the job for you. Okay, and that's okay. Not everyone can do that, but the pump operator, you're there by yourself most of the time. Okay, like you're maybe working for a company, but you're the one on site dealing with it. Your boss isn't there, you are the boss. And so you have to be a good self-manager and whatnot. And you have to be willing to work crazy hours, because you're the first one on site, because you have to be there half an hour before the concrete truck, and you're the last one there because it takes you between 15 and 35 minutes to clean out the pump, depending on the mix design. So you got to be willing to work. But let me tell you, it's very fulfilling. It's really exciting. There's always something going wrong. There's some forms blowing out, there's always a story. At the end of the day, you'll always have a story. And if that's the type of life you want to live, do it. But if you're kind of a pussy, not the job for you, because you will have days. Like this morning, my guys are on a job right now, and the boom pipe, one of the O-rings exploded and sprayed concrete all over the place. And it's been an absolute nightmare. And yesterday we had hoses explode and all sorts of things. But there's always a story. But if you're a wimp, not going to like it. The pay is good. It's a needed service, so it's generally pretty busy, and you'll definitely make a good wage if you're a good operator. Now, here's the thing that I tell my guys all the time. I want you to never stop learning. My one guy, he's absolutely amazing, and he's just getting better and better every day because he's always learning. I'm always telling him, listen, they're paying us $205 an hour or whatever it is to be on site, and we better be doing something that whole time, providing value to the customer. If you can provide value constantly to the customer, your boss or you as an owner operator will win. But you have to be always learning, because there's always a faster way to do it. And if you ever get complacent, that's not good. So I'm always telling my guys, keep learning, keep figuring out new ways to do stuff, because we want to be the best that we can be, because you're a service company. You're providing a service. So if you don't provide good service, you're not going to get jobs. That's kind of the thing here. Now, another thing to consider is, if you're considering starting up a pumping company, is you really need to understand the market and whatnot, because guys get really comfortable with a certain pump company and they'll use them. And the only time I would recommend starting up a pump company is if there is a need for it. If there's not a need for it, you might be sitting on a $7,000 a month payment and not doing it. Now, if you're like, man, I really want to get into pumping though, there's always a huge need for pump operators. And if you get in the industry and you start learning and doing it, you'll put yourself in proximity with people that if the opportunity ever presents itself, maybe you can start up a company. But that's just my advice. Don't take on a $7,000 a month payment just because you want to have a pump company. I know a guy, and in 3 years he did 100 jobs, which is nothing. He lost everything and wasn't worth it for him, when he could have just ran a pump and built up some experience and whatnot. We were in a good situation where we got approached, and based on my mechanical experience and equipment experience, The company asked us, kind of, can you start up a pump and we'll use you? So we did that, and it's been a blessing from God for sure. The other thing is, you have to be willing to do maintenance and fix stuff. Like, this is not just a job, it's actually more of a life thing. And that sounds a little bit crazy, but it is. So if you really enjoy work and that is like your hobby, pumping is awesome. If you're the type of person that you finish at 4:30 and you're done and you don't even want to think about work, pumping's not for you, because it's really a lifestyle thing. It's not just a normal job. Like, you have to be locked in, because there's so many things that can go wrong, so many things you have to know. And I would recommend let's say there's a guy out there watching this video that is feeling lost in life, that they don't know what to do, they want to do something fun, they feel like they're just not locking into anything. You should consider pumping, because it's not a normal construction job. Like, you're running equipment, you get to have a responsibility. It's actually a lot of fun. And the two guys that I've hired have both told me recently that they have found that this has become, like one of their hobbies. If I always tell my guys, if you're not having fun, then you should not be here. We need to reassess what's going on, because if you need to be having fun. And I try and keep it fun all the time, because if you're not having fun, what are you even doing? So if you have any questions or comments, let me know. This is a Putzmeister pump, and I have my other one's an Alliance, and then my line pump is a KCP. Here's my opinion. All the pumps they do the same thing. I honestly don't have a ton of years, or I don't even have a year under my belt of pumping, but I've been around equipment enough to know it's about the maintenance. If you're looking at a used pump, you need to figure out, how did the previous company do their maintenance? Because you have to remember, companies are always trying their best to produce the best product. And so, they're not going to be selling junk necessarily. But if the company that you're buying it off of used didn't do their maintenance, you will pay the price. This pump and our 33 meter, the maintenance was done on them, and they're working good. But they're over 10 years old, so they're getting to have some issues here and there, but maintenance. Anyways, hope you guys have a good one. Leave some comments if you have any questions. And maybe I should make some more videos about pumping. It's just a good time.